Greetings, all my broskies and gentle broskies. I am the Dark, the Shadow, the Maverick, the Dark Shadow Maverick. Something here will not do. That's gonna stop there for a second. And time resumes. Now, for everyone who's probably wondering, like, what the hell is going on, allow me to explain. Sorry about this, but I kinda, while going through certain videos, while looking back at certain videos, for basically so that I know from where I left off, I kinda lost interest. And I really hate that for you guys. Because there are probably some of you guys out there that really do indeed like the series that I was going to be continuing, but hey, who's to say I won't be continuing them in the future? It's just the here and now things have changed, plans have changed, change of plans. Now I have a little bit of a new schedule, which will involve 4 different things. What will be involved is, I'm sure you guys, like anyone on the channel, will have found the videos by now. The Shadow Crystal Wars, Maximum Poison, those videos, and the Carnage was in like Carnage Izuku in Modern Mortal Kombat, those videos. So basically, the Shadow Crystal Wars, Maximum Poison, those videos, the Carnage Izuku and Modern Mortal Kombat videos, those as well. The third thing is going to be more of the Lagiacrus. What if Izuku was the Lagiacrus? Because basically what I've just ended up deciding is that I'm basically gonna have those what if videos be the ones where I just have a gay old time, not caring what I put in there or what I don't put in there. Because I got shit from Dead Space, I got shit from Half-Life, I got shit from Monster Hunter, I got shit from Final Fantasy, I think. And I got shit from Shadow of the Colossus. So yeah, you could probably guess that I'm starting to just think of that what if as just something like a no rules kind of thing. Or at least little to no rules. Not no rules, but at least little to no rules. And the fourth thing being the newest, what if Izuku was the Blue Eyes White Dragon? You know, I've tried to do it before where Izuku was Slide for the Sky Dragon, because I thought that would be pretty freaking boss. But now that I'm thinking about it, Blue Eyes, I don't think Blue Eyes gets enough love. And Slide for the Sky Dragon is kind of like Yugi's go-to because he lost Exodia somehow. I don't know how, like, a card just goes missing. Like, WTF, Yami Yugi, what the... Literally, buddy. WTF. Or did it just automatically get sent to the Shadow Realm? I mean, if that's the case, then damn. The freaking Egyptian gods are assholes in Yu-Gi-Oh! The, like, depictions of the Egyptian gods of Yu-Gi-Oh! Are freaking assholes. If that's the case. Anyways, basically, yeah. I'm not that big of a fan of Exodia. Though there is one thing I do like about Exodia. Exodia obliterate! I love that. I wanted to make that a channel meme. You know what I mean? For our like, you know, the channel. Another meme for the channel. Exodia obliterate. A simple saying of 2 words can be turned into a meme before you can even, like, blink. If you're not careful. Like a boss. Yeah, just me thinking that regardless of how many, like, freaking Blue Eyes White Dragons Seto Kaiba has in his closet, you know, a closet Blue Eyes collector. That's basically what Seto Kaiba is. So, yeah. And that whole thing. So, yeah. About that. Basically, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna make it to be like where, what if Izuku, like, had a quirk, but the cruel irony of the situation of it was that it was a transformation quirk, yes it was, but it was no ordinary transformation quirk. It was like the essence of the Blue Eyes White Dragon was like fueling the quirk. So the literal quirk was him becoming the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And considering what, like 2 Blue Eyes did to, like, the majority of, like, Yugi's deck whenever Yugi and, you know, Kaiba were fighting, like, oh, you may have used your little sword spell thing to take my 1, like, Blue Eyes and trap it, but I have 2 more Blue Eyes. So literally, if you didn't rip that one that you got from that one guy apart, you would have had 4. So literally, I do not get the choices that Seto Kaiba makes sometimes. If you had not ripped that one apart, you could have had 4 Blue Eyes. Seto Kaiba, you dumbass. Ugh. Anyways, eventually that dumbass Express over there gets, Obelisk the Tormentor. Never mind. But anyways, the transformation quirk being literally turning into the Blue Eyes White Dragon. However, no one in the MHA universe knows about, all the Yu-Gi-Oh card shit. So they don't even, know. Basically, shit, frick. Basically, how I'm going to set it up here is Izuku's last name is not Midoriya. His last name is not Midoriya. His last name is Shimura. And he is the second grandson of Nana Shimura, making him brothers with Tenko Shimura. But seeing as, this is like MHA timeline, like Shigaraki's supposed to be 20 whenever he's introduced. So that would only be a 5-year difference. And seeing as he Shigaraki, or as he's currently known in this part of our little timeline here, it would be the big brother, and he would be known as Tenko. So basically, it's Tenko and Izuku. Tenko is Izuku would be 5. This would be his 5th birthday. And since, Tenko's 5 years older, that would make Tenko 10. And Tenko would already know his quirk because he would basically have killed all of their family with it. Except for Izuku, and, Tenko wonders why that is. How he was able to survive everything. It's almost like the quirk that his brother has is dormant, secretly protecting him from the decay quirk. Even though it's dormant, it's still protecting him somewhat. There's still, it's somewhat of a rash. Kind of what your skin looks like whenever you get a rash, that reddish coloring. Basically, that's really the only sign of damage that's there whenever that happened. But, Tenko still feels really bad. Regardless of actually possibly killing him or not, still feels really bad. And not only that, now they're homeless. They don't have a home, they don't have parents. So homeless and orphans. So yeah. All they have is each other. And so basically Tenko, seeing as he's 10 and Izuku's 5, he decides that since he's the bigger brother, he is going to be the adult, and he is going to carry the whole weight of the situation. However, there will be an instance in which, seeing as Izuku is the younger, all for one would find that a little bit more enticing. And plus, this dormant power seems to have allowed him, Izuku, to tank, Tenko's, decay quirk. And All for One is just like, that is, oh, yes, yes, yes. So one time, whenever, you know, they're just holding up signs, there's like, we'll do this, 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 and this for food. We'll do this, 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 and this for money. But like the same thing with, you know, Tenko's original backstory and canon, everybody's just like, oh, a hero will eventually get them. Nobody, stretches out a hand to help. And that's until, like, All for One is just like, oh, the kid's all alone by himself. Because, Tenko and Izuku are in the midst of relocating. And so basically, they're finding new locations. And, Shiraki's is a little bit farther away from Izuku's this time. And, All for One, basically, instead of Shigaraki, I gotta call him Tenko. Tenko's is a little bit farther from Izuku's this time. Plus, it's actually getting towards night, so it's a little bit harder to see. All for One is just like, child. And, he would try to do the whole thing that All for One tried to do to Tenko in, like, the original canon. However, instead of just, like, taking him in, he would want to make sure that there was no, like, bad news bears against him. Any sort of negative effects towards him. So he would attempt to take, Izuku's quirk so swiftly that Izuku wouldn't be able to notice. And that's whenever, basically, if any of you have ever seen the show Zatch Bell, then like, Kyo and Zatch, and whenever Kyo says the name of the spell, Zakir, or Zakerga, like, the lightning is fired like a blast if it's Zakir, or Zakerga, if he says Zakerga, it will be a beam. So basically, it would be the equivalent of a blue Zakerga. That's basically what it would look like. If any of you, like, Zatch Bell aficionados out there, it would basically look like the equivalent of a blue Zakerga coming out of Izuku's mouth. And at All for One, and basically, like, Tenko would have seen, like, a bunch of, like, lights and, like all sorts of sparks and shit. He wouldn't actually be able to see the real deal, so he would just run all over there being like, holy shit, that's where my brother's supposed to be. Crap, 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 crap. I'm the worst brother ever. He'd just be yelling that to himself internally, like internally screaming and being like, I am the worst brother ever. Not until, basically, he would realize, well, seeing as he is the grandson of Namna Shimura, he would know a little bit about All for One and how he's the #1 villain. And so whenever he sees the charred corpse of All for One, and, what looks to be like basically coming from Izuku, like he just blasted him. And that's exactly what happened. He got blasted. And, let's just say, yeah, that is why you do not try to pull a fast one on someone who has the quirk that gives them the abilities of the blue-eyes white friggin' dragon. That's just a no-no. All around no-no. So, yeah, basically, it's almost Izuku's birthday. Well, at least soon, you know. Because even though Izuku was already 5, you know, Keiko was like, we're gonna have to get enough money to actually get you to a doctor to get your quirk checked out and everything. Like your quirk gene and shit. So yeah, basically that's what they were doing, like getting money for like all sorts of different resources. Basically, whenever they returned, well, it turns out Offer One isn't dead. Like he's close to dead, but like he's still alive, but he's too close to dead to actually do anything. He's too close to dead to actually use his quirk too. And he realizes this, that he basically has no choice other than to be dragged off by these two kids who just now realized that All For One is still conscious and alive. And all that shiz. And so they just go to the authorities and like, oh, how much money do you think you'd be able to get us if we were to just hand this guy over to you? Because, Tanko's trying to do whatever he can to get them, like, a stable, like, thing. And, Tenko doesn't want anything to do with any orphanage because, well, his quirk was considered villainous by many already. And, well, if they figured out what Izuku did to kill, well, not exactly kill, but very close to kill, All For One, basically, the police officer guy just writes a couple numbers down, shows them the not so blank check at all. Like, it's like the exact opposite of a blank check. And, whenever Tanko sees what's on the check, he's just like, sir, you are very kind. You are a very kind man. You are a very kind man. And, well, the police officer is like, well, if you aren't too happy about being stuck in the orphanage where inevitably, like, the police officer is just like, because, like, of the way your quirks are viewed or would be viewed in your brother's case. Oh, and because of the fact that they are blood brothers, Izuku's hair would indeed be the same color as Tenko's hair. And I forget what is Tenko's eye color? That doesn't really matter. Just say that they have the same eye and hair color, both of them. Basically, Izuku has the same hair color and eye color as Tenko does. However, the hairstyle is still the Izuku Midoriya hairstyle. That doesn't really change. So, yeah. Basically, the police officer is basically just like, he believes that he might know someone who can help, considering the information that Tenko did give him. And, well, basically, you know, basically the person that would come down to the precinct, it would actually be two people. And the only reason that there would be two people is because one of these people would, be interested as to why their friend was being called down to a police precinct about two children who were apparently homeless orphans for God knows how long. Now, it's basically whenever Tenko would just state that he's 10, and Izuku over there, his brother, is his younger brother by like 5 years. So like he's like 5. And almost 6, he's kinda like 5.5. So like very close to getting to be 6. Because like it's been a while and they actually did need to get the money to actually see a doctor to like examine the quirk or like whatever he has. It's apparently so strong that whenever Oth-1 decided to do whatever he decided that he was going to do, before he could even do that, he got blasted like all the way through. And Tenko's actually surprised that he didn't end up dead. Like right on the spot. And Izuku would just be like, well, the heroes do say that killing is wrong. And Tenko's like, that's the only reason why you left him alive? And Izuku's just like, well, that and I really didn't have all that much control over, my quirk. And basically, the two people, the person and the person who was basically coming with whether the other person liked it or not. The person that was like coming that was supposed to come was the number 10 hero, the dragon hero, Ryuku. And the person that was coming with whether Ryuku liked it or not was indeed her friend, the number 5 hero, the rabbit hero, Mirko. Yes, that's right. Mirko was not going to stand for this. She was like, oh, hell no. So, yeah. Basically, this is just going to be a wild ride. And it just so turns out that, in another room comes out a certain someone, Namasa, All-Might's cop partner. Basically, Namasa and All Might were talking, and they overheard the commotion And basically, after hearing all of this, they basically got Aizawa on their trail. You know, the number, I don't exactly know what number. Hero, you know, Eraserhead, also known as Shota Aizawa. Basically, Aizawa does end up showing up along with All Might, Sir Night Eye, and Masa. Well, Namasa was already there because it's a police precinct. And All Might was pretty much already there, but, he basically had to enter the room. And, Sir Night Eye still has his certain ties, so, he was there, but he wasn't as talkative as he used to be. Back whenever he was simply All Might's sidekick. So, yeah, you have several important people in the room right now. So, yeah. Basically, what would be said is that, basically, what would be said is, seeing as Mirako isn't exactly going to leave this alone, plus, Ryuku and Mirako are friends enough as it is. Already friends enough as it is. They're already friends, so, why not? Basically, the position that Mirako is allowed to be given, allowed to take, is the position of, a mother figure. So that these kids are not orphans. Not homeless. Neither orphans or homeless. They would have a home, which would be Ryuku's home, and they would have parents, or at least a parent, as of now, being their mother figure, Ryuku. And their aunt, seeing as she's friends with Ryuku, they would have an auntie, Mirko. So, yeah. But there has the problem of they have a mother figure, but they don't have a father figure. And, Tenko's just like, why even bother with giving us either? I'm just gonna end up killing them in the end, probably. And that's whenever the whole thing is brought up of why they're even orphans or homeless to begin with. Because of Tenko's quirk. And they end up figuring out that his original name was actually Tenko Shimura. And he's the grandson of Nana Shimura, a one-for-all user. And whenever All Might hears this, he's like, what? Like, the what? What the frick? And frack? And all the whack? So, yeah. And that's when, all eyes are on the one person who could actually stop another incident like that from happening. One person that also probably would be able to, discipline, not Shigure, Tenko and Izuku enough so that their quirks don't, jeopardize either other people or themselves, even. Because they don't even know what Izuku's quirk is yet, but they do know it's pretty damn powerful if it took out all for one. In like one shot, one go. And that one person being Shota Aizawa. At least, let me look up the ages. I'm gonna try to keep on talking so that this doesn't get weird. Okay. Basically, ages. H. A. Ryuku. Age. Oh, her last name is Tatsuma. "26. Dude's 30? Same age as Inko when the start of the anime. They're the same age at the start of the anime. Aizawa's 30, and at the start of the anime, Inko's 30. Jesus. So Ryuku is 26, which is older than Shigaraki at the start of like his first appearance in the anime. He's like 20, so older than him by like 6 years. And Aizawa is 30, so yeah, that's not too much of a creep factor. Like, like awkward factor. So yeah, basically, I don't see it being that long. Plus, the age that we have them at right now, you know, Izuku and Tenko, like, we have Tenko at the age of 10 right now, and we have Izuku in 5 going on 6, right now. And, basically, the, Namasa, All Might's cop partner, would be like, you would need to get the whole adoption papers, like, fixed, like, basically, Ryuko has a house, Aizawa has a house, and, well, considering Aizawa is older, and, they would have his last name, seeing as that's how that works. There would technically be Tenko, and the last name. Like if you just wanted to simplify it by two names, you like Tenko Aizawa and Izuku Aizawa. If we wanted to simplify it, and we'll simplify it just because I don't want mouthfuls for every single time I say their names. So like Tenko Aizawa and Izuku Aizawa. So yeah. And seeing as Aizawa is older, so in like terms of legal shit and like actual age shit, like you would think of it to be more like legally responsible. Plus, Ryuku's kind of, Ryuku. And Mirko's not that much better. So, like, Ryuku basically lives with Aizawa and now these two kids. From now on. But, hey, Aizawa's a pretty banging hero. Plus, the money from, Ryuku still being the number 10 hero, there is some improvements. So, I mean, Ryuku does what Ryuku does. I mean, come on, let's just be honest with ourselves here. And, well, basically, Miracle will still live where Miracle lives. But the thing that will change is that now Ryuku, Tenko, and Izuku all live with Aizawa under like the names like the Aizawa name. Basically. The Aizawa name. And because of all the money that's gonna be raking in all the dough, so basically this day that's been waited for so long. Tenko would be anticipating this, and Ryuku would be fired up to see what their technical adopted son, like what their quirk was going to be, like other adopted son. And Aizawa would just be being Aizawa. But, secretly he would be hiding, the fact that he actually kind of would want to know the quirk. And, after doing some testing, there would be a kid that would come out, a kid by the name of Katsuki Bakugo. And, well, you see, as soon as Aizawa and Ryuku adopted these two precious little beings, they kind of got them enrolled in a little school. And, well, the school that they got them enrolled in was the same school Izuku went to in canon. All the way up until middle school. And so Bakugo was still going to be a thing. So, yeah. Basically, Bakugo is still a piece of shit as ever. And there are actually several times that, Ryuku and Aizawa have to, remind Tenko that, not to kill this kid. Like, probably doesn't know any better. And everybody, if anybody's wondering about All For One, like to say he's in jail. Awaiting his, you know, execution. Basically, yeah, death row. And there ain't gonna be no SCP Foundation to save his ass. Death row this man to hell and back several times over. Because they want to make sure that this guy doesn't get any help. So as soon as he gets sent all the way to Tartarus prison from being like death rowed, they lock him up in a secure prison, so damn secure that even the guards that have guards that have guards have guards that have guards. And like everything is fortified beyond fortified, like 50 bajillion times over. Like, they lock this shit so damn tight. Like, All For One barely even has room to breathe. And it's so bad, actually, that All For One actually dies again while in his holding cell. And they can tell this because, like, there's like a heart reading to just tell how long he'll last in there. There's a heart monitor thing to tell how long he'll last. And, it just, like, flatlines almost automatically. Because of, like, all the crushing pressure. And, like, barely any sort of support for, like, the stuff that he already has on him. And so, yeah. Plus, they didn't do all that much good job of patching up the wound. And, like, kind of became gangrenous. And so, you die once, you get sent to Tartarus. You die twice, you get non-existent. So now All For One doesn't even exist. And, the people at Tartarus prison inform All Might and the rest of the Hero Association about this, like, quick, fast, and in a hurry as like hell. Like, they just do their damnedest to, like, as fast as possible, inform everyone about the fact that All For One doesn't even exist anymore. Because you die once, you get sent to wherever. You die twice, you no longer exist. And that's basically what happened to All For One. Because of the whole, crushing, like, lockdown, and how, they didn't exactly patch up the whole Blue Eyes White Dragon blast wound all that good, so it became gangrenous really fast, and he just ended up dying. Kind of as, like, the same way in Richard the Lionheart died. He got, like, shot in the shoulder by some kid. And the wound from getting, like, the arrow in the shoulder became gangrenous, and that's how Richard the Lionheart died. Of a gangrenous wound. From getting shot in the shoulder with an arrow from a kid. Now, like, 10 years old, I believe. So yeah, basically, now All For One is just non-existent. Anyways, what were we doing again? I guess the whole thing with the quirk thing. Basically, like, Aizawa and Ryuku get the news about All For One no longer being anybody's problem. Just being an everlasting purgatory of nothingness, like endless void, a void, like just nothing, honey, nothing, nobody. And basically, after finally calming Tenko down, Aizawa and Ryuku doing that, and, even Mirako receives the message about All for One and everything. All Might is just finally relieved that nobody's gonna have to deal with All for One's bullshit anymore. Finally just happy that no more of his bullshit. And so, basically, yeah. Kanko's basically like, I already know what my quirk is, Izuku. So, yeah, I think you're next. And Izuku's just like, oh. And Bakugo was just giving Izuku a look and about to say something. And then Kenko gives Bakugo a look like, if you dare say anything smart about my freaking brother, I will end you so hard. Your entire next generation of Bakugo will feel it. Beyond feeling it. Yeah, he's just like, I will end you so hard that it will like be on the next generation of your entire lineage, if you even have one left, after I'm done with your ass. Yeah, Tango ain't having Bakugo bullshit. Ain't having it. No, sir. Oh, sorry. So yeah, Izuku just goes in and they do all the tests and, basically, the doctor just goes and he's like, will do like a Ryuku and Aizawa, like, please come here, like, all this. Basically, Ryuku's there, Aizawa's there, and they're like, oh, what's up? Like, why do we need to be here again? And basically, the doctor's like, well, I think that you would want to know about your son's quirk, even if he isn't your, like, blood sign. I mean, I at least think you would be interested somewhat. Especially because, from everything that I've gotten so far, are you sure that he's not blood related to you, Ryuku? Because last time I checked, your not twerk, not freaking Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus can't even twerk. What you talking about? Anyways, back to the what if, finally. Unless, basically, from, what basically anyone and everyone that knows you knows about your quirk is that you can turn into a dragon. And Ryuku's like, yeah, I'm a dragon form, so what about it? And then the doctor's basically like, Izuku, don't worry about it. It's just us in here. No one else can see us, no one else can hear us. No one else even knows that we're doing this. And, Tenko's even there. Like, Tenko even decided he was gonna come in. Because, to support his brother. And, support him extra hard in case, like, Bakugo wanted to be an asshole and, make him feel bad. He decided that he was gonna come in regardless. And so, Izuku feeling the love, feeling the, support-ish, he's like, okay then. Okay. Blue eyes, attack mode. And Aizawa would be like, what the? And Ryuko would just be like, she would actually, on accident, turn into her dragon form by using her quirk. She would be so freaking scared. Like, seeing the Blue Eyes White Dragon transformation, it would literally scare her so much, she would turn into her dragon form. And almost attack Izuku. And, like Tenka would have to remind them they're kind of family, they're not supposed to try to kill each other. Basically, all you would hear is Blue Eyes White Dragon defense mode. Basically, in entering the defense mode, basically it would be Izuku like regularly, only there would be all of his skin would be white and he would have blue eyes. And he would have white hair. Basically everything but his eyes would be white. Yeah, blue eyes, white dragon, so everything except for his eyes would be white and his eyes would be blue. And in this defense form, his normal nails, like fingernails and toenails, would basically have been formed into claws. And instead of regular teeth, you would have fangs. Like, for each tooth would be a fang. So it would really be like a human dragon, like slash human slash dragon. Even to the point where he would have a tail that was also white. And it would have a pointy tip. Like that of a tip of a trident. So this form, this kind of mix in between human and blue eyes would basically be that. It would basically everything white except for the eyes, and the eyes would be blue. And in defense form, so it would just kind of be like sort of regular. So basically, the defense form is kind of like half, like just like the regular Izuku, and then defense form is like half, so like human, but like with the blue eyes colors and certain like dragon-like features. And attack form is full blue eyes transformation, like full blue eyes. Or at least as much as can be like Izuku can control how big or how small he becomes whenever he turns into the full blue eyes, which is why like the room, like the ceiling, didn't get busted open whenever he transformed. He transformed however big he could transform without destroying the entire room. He could actually, at this point, he can actually control how big or how small he wants to make the transformation whenever he goes into attack mode or defense mode. Well, defense mode is basically him, but like blue eyes. And the attack form is like Blue Eyes White Dragon, only you can like mess with like how big or how small you want the blue eyes to be. And Izuku does admit he's kind of working on learning how to talk in the Blue Eyes form. Well, he already does know how to talk, but not in human speak. He can talk in Blue Eyes speak, but he can't talk in human speak in that form. Well, that's not 100% true. There are certain things, like, but, it's almost like his speech is crippled. So he's been trying to, the more and more he becomes the blue eyes, and listens to, like, hearsay, like, different people, like, different conversations, the more he'll be able to remember certain words and how to say them in, like, English while he's in the Blue Eyes form. And that was all the way back whenever he was, like, first learning how to do the different transformations. And so by now, he actually has managed to learn how to speak English in the Blue Eyes form. It's only he doesn't want to do it because, well, certain people might think certain things about that kind of, it might not be the best, thing. Basically, Aizawa basically gets this down before Ryuku's even able to, like, tell anything. And he's just like, prejudice. You're afraid that because of the way your quirk works and what exactly your quirk is, that prejudice will be dropped upon you. Just like how prejudice is dropped upon Tenko's quirk. Thought to be evil because it decays things. And you're afraid that your quirk will be thought to be evil because of what it turns you into and what exactly would happen if you were to try to talk to people in that state. The full Blue Eyes White Dragon. And, like, Izuku would be like, well, you're not wrong about any of that, actually. That's actually the name of the quirk. That's what I decided. At least that if I didn't say anything, no one would, or at least if they did, it wouldn't be as bad as if I did speak in the transformation, fully transformed. And Aizawa, this is his boiling point. Just like, Izuku Aizawa, I will not stand for this. Those that would judge you upon simple things like that, those people are not your friends. You shouldn't even bother listening to them. Only those that truly support you, regardless of what you are on the outside or inside. Those are the ones that are your friends. So yeah, basically, Aizawa giving good fatherly advice. Like, if people are gonna beat you up over that shit, like, such petty shit, they're not your friends. And so basically, Izuku, instead of constantly trying to be, Kachan's friend, Izuku's just like, well, seeing as he was afraid in the first place that, Bakugo especially might do that, then, he actually gets it firmly set into his mind and actually tells Tenko, like, well, I know a certain someone who I'm no longer going to try to make my friend anymore. Isn't that right? Well, and seeing as I'm not going to try to do that anymore, no sense in calling them Kachan. And Tenko would just be like, and he would just like go to hug Izuku. And Izuku would just hug him back. They would just like be embraced. And Ryuku and Aizawa would hug them too. And Ryuku would like whisper to Aizawa, like, damn, you're a hell of a lot better, better at this than I am. And I thought it was like, with time you'll get good. Don't worry, Ryuku, with time you'll get better at this. With time. I was all trying to make sure that Ryuku doesn't get all down in the glumps. And so, basically, right as soon as they are basically walking out of the doctor's office, and Bakugo goes to make a smart-ass comment, Tenko is about to hit him, but Izuku stops him with one hand and grabs Bakugo by the collar with another hand, and, well, basically lets go of Tenko and, pulls Bakugo even closer and just whispers something into his ear. Blue Eyes White Dragon attack mode. And then you would just get like, boom! And you would just get taken out one-shotted. And one thing Bakugo would hear right before, he would just go nighty-night, get put to sleep. It's just like, and don't worry, I no longer feel the need to call you Kachan anymore. Because we are not friends. Capiche? And, just as if he, didn't actually care if Bakugo got the message or not, he would just walk off and be like, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave you to do whatever. I don't want to keep my family waiting. After all. Don't worry, Tenko, I'm coming. And so, Izuku would indeed rush along, going towards Tenko. And this will indeed be a little bit of a time skip because I'm having fun with this. I want to see if I can go on a little bit more. Let's do a little bit of that time skip to the beginning of the anime. Bakugo is still being an asshole. But some things that pretty much everyone in the class have noticed. Yeah. Izuku has not called Bakugo Kachan once. Instead, he just calls him Katsuki. And they're like, oh, what's with this change in tone? And, well, it will basically be the last day of middle school. The teacher would do the whole thing, throwing the papers up in the air. Would realize that the names that would have been written up to go to UA, Katsuki Bakugo, you want to go to UA. And, Bakugo would be like, of course. No, don't let me in with these, bunch of extras. And Izuku would just be like, what? Did you just call us Katsuki? And, Bakugo would just be like, you heard me. All you are a bunch of extras. And, right as Izuku's about to get up, you know, Tenko would be like, no, 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 no. Let me take care of this, brother. Don't worry. It will only be for a little bit. And Bakugo would go to throwing an explosion at Tenko, but Tenko would, just for the smallest percentage of a second, grab on to Bakugo's arms with all 5 fingers. Both arms, like this hand for this arm, this hand for this arm. Just for like the smallest percentage of a second. And automatically it would like burn down like and Bakugo would just be writhing in pain on the ground. And as Izuku's been like, noticing more and more now. Tenko's been taking all of the fault, like taking all the piss. If something happens to Bakugo, it could be him that did it, or it could have been Izuku doing it. It wouldn't matter. He would still be the one taking the piss, still be the one taking the fault. It wouldn't matter, because Tenko's the big brother, and as the big brother, Tenko feels like he has to, be doing what a big brother would do for his little brother. Be protective. But not too protective, just protective enough so that Izuku doesn't get expelled. It's just been that way. This is the last day of middle school. There's not much that's been, expected. And Bakugo wouldn't go to blow up Izuku's desk or his notebook because his arms would be in too much pain for him to do so. So, yeah. And whenever it comes to his cronies, well, basically, before, Tenko can even do anything, just be raced over there, like, Izuku would be there. He would see the fat kid with the wings and the kid with the elongated fingers quirk. And he'd just be like, you want to see something funny? Want to see something real funny? And, these 2 kids would be like, what do you mean? And it would be like, don't play smart with me. And, something would happen, like, basically sometimes, whenever Izuku and, Tenko trained, they would train with each other. But sometimes, like, there would be secluded training. And in the midst of this secluded training, Izuku would have found out, like, several stuff that he can do. He likes that he can do. Basically, these bullies, they would basically see Izuku just pop 2 cards in his hand, like 2 cards. Just pretend I'm holding 2 cards in between my fingers. He'd be like, you see these two? And then, all of a sudden, what would appear would be like a big grid, which would kind of look like the little battlefield things in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime where they would put the cards and then the monsters would appear. And that's basically what Izuku would do. He would place these two cards down. And basically, the fat kid with the wings and the kid with the finger extending quirk would look at each other, and the fat kid with the wings would just say, it would just like, use your fingers to like grab at the cards. And that's what the fat kid with the, not the fat kid, basically the kid with the extending fingers would do, or at least go to do. But then they would have realized that, underneath his sleeve, he actually would have slipped a third card. And that third card, basically, as soon as like the kid's fingers went towards the two cards, this card that was also face down like the other two would turn face upwards. And basically, this would be a spell card. And the spell card would be a sort of barrier spell that would basically keep, like, let's say a certain monster card or monsters were summoned onto the field, either face up or face down. This card would basically protect all monsters on that side. And seeing as the kid with the finger quirks went for the cards, he was now being electric shocked by the barrier spell card. And then Izuku would just be like, now let's, it's like, excellent, now let's show them what they've won. Now, Blue Eyes, attack mode. And then he would place the two cards, the two other cards, face up, and he would reveal that they were both Blue Eyes White Dragons. And, the kid with long fingers quirk and the kid with the wing quirk would just be like, ah, shit. And he would just be like, they would both get blasted. One Blue Eyes White Dragon for each. And then Izuku would just undo the whole battlefield, because basically there would be little life point things, like how they do like the like the sound effect in Yu-Gi-Oh! Whenever like life points are lost. Basically, all the life points would go down to 0 for like both of the things that would have been showing. And when that happened, basically the battlefield would disappear, the monsters would disappear, the spell card would disappear. But, what would have happened is basically they would have been wiped out by the Blue Eyes. One Blue Eyes for each. One Blue Eyes for each scumbag bully. And, Tenko, seeing this and his brother, seeing how he's been able to actually branch out his quirk, you guys may be wondering, well, if it's just Blue Eyes, then how was they able to use different cards besides Blue Eyes? Well, technically, seeing as the Blue Eyes White Dragon is from a different universe, let's just say the main focus of the quirk is surrounded about like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's the main premise. But there are other things that can be used to aid said quirk, like, for example, that, shock therapy barrier spell card thingy that was done to that kid with the long fingers. Basically, like, different cards in order to aid Blue Eyes. And, cards that make more Blue Eyes. Multiple Blue Eyes attacks at once. Yes, that's like fun for days. And he can create this shit like out of nowhere. Because it's all part of his quirk. Basically the Blue Eyes White Dragon and the ability to make things to assist the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So like spell cards and trap cards basically. And if you guys are wondering like about like the Yu-Gi-Oh movie where there was the Blue Eyes White Shining Dragon or whatever the hell it was called, I might just do that. But I don't know when. I think the actual name was the Blue Eyes White Shining Dragon. And that would be awesome to have the Blue Eyes White Shining Dragon just screw some people. Like, just pull off some Godmod level shit. So, yeah. Basically, Basically, it would be the 10 months of training, but basically it would be more of the same being done for Izuku, doing his thing. Yeah. And so eventually, the day of the entrance exam, eventually would come the day of the entrance exam. So yeah. I'll be in part 2 because I am kinda dumbstruck right now. And I'll see you next time. Dark Shadow Maverick is always out of here, you boys. Like, favorite, subscribe. Click that little bell. Comment section. I'm gonna bounce like a squidge in my blue suede shoes. And I'm gonna eat, 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 and I'll eat. 360 no skull. Destruction. Wacky, wavy, fun, arm, flavor, do man. Family Guy reference.